This is Let's Talk Business with your host, Marc Ebinger. Now, here's Marc.
Welcome back to the Let's Talk Business podcast. Today we've got Adele and Richard Rodriguez, tax and financial experts and the owners of Freedom Financial, and also my tax folks. Guys, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
It's
much.
official. You guys are actually our tax people. So,
Yes.
yeah. Well, I'm super excited about that. I know Jennifer is too. So,
Yeah.
We're pretty excited working with you guys.
All right, excellent. I'm your host, Marc Ebinger, the owner of Krukus Virtual Staffing, a company that recruits and staffs experienced overseas virtual assistants for insurance agents who need help with policy management, claims processing, and client communication.
And I'm Howie Nestel, the owner of Sharkmatic Advertising, a super cool ad agency that I've been running for 30 years, helping clients communicate effectively and economically by leveraging digital media. What does that mean? Web design, graphic design, search engine optimization. So if you have marketing that is forward-facing and nobody's seeing it, then come and see us at sharkmatic.com.
You should have a tagline like, help take a bite out of SEO or something, like that.
That'd be really
Just Take a
cool.
bite out of
And
something.
that shark
I know
right
that that's
there.
a whole help take a bite out of crime or
I
something.
just got
but
it.
Well,
Thank you.
Right? You should change that.
really?
Yeah.
Well, our real tagline is a cool ad agency serious about big results.
It's got to do with sharks.
It doesn't, but it already has Sharkmatic in the name.
I know, but that's
than
what I'm
the name of
saying.
the company.
The shark equates to a bite. You know what I mean?
So on the website, we have a section that says we help clients dominate through, and then we put the different things, and there's a big shark right next to
I
it.
don't know. It's not sharky enough for me. I'm just saying. Maybe talk to Genevieve about it. She can help you with your branding. What did I just say?
Oh my gosh.
He's gonna hit me later.
Is this being recorded?
What? Yeah, it's live. All right. So the quick reminder to follow the Let's Talk Business podcast on all the major podcast platforms and social media, where you can catch the fun and video versions of the show. You can get to everything easily by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. Now, coming up on October 3rd, the Let's Talk Business podcast has another mega mixer coming up from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Tickets are on sale now for just $20. They were $15, now they're $20, and they're going to go to $25 if you wait too long.
Right.
So,
But even if you have to pay $25, and I'm not encouraging people to wait, because
Right.
the worst feeling you can have is that it's sold out. Just know that the proceeds from this event, from this mega mixer on October 3rd, are going to go to Gotcha Covered, a collection drive for the homeless I've been doing for 28 years. And so we're going to use the proceeds to buy non-perishable food items, and we'll buy new and
nice.
used clothing, or new and used gently used items that will all be used for people who need it right here in San Antonio. Some of the nonprofits that Gotcha Covered supports include Food Bank, Battered Women and Children's Shelter, and Haven for Hope.
Very nice.
Yeah, there's going to be great food, plenty of drinks, lots of networking, and there's going to be some sponsorship tables there where you guys can interact with local businesses that are offering special deals and educating folks on what they're doing on B2B type services. So super excited about that. Speaking of which, a quick shout out to one of our gold sponsors, Steel Roots Tree Services here in the San Antonio area. They are, of course, one of the gold sponsors for the upcoming Mega Mixer on October 3rd. Now, Steel Roots Tree Services offers comprehensive tree care, including tree removal, pruning, stump grinding, which is totally cool. You know how people cut a tree off and leave the stump?
Yep.
Grind it down, get rid of it, have some nice grass
and
there.
not a lot of companies do that, because it's kind of a pain and you need
Yes.
specialized equipment.
Yeah,
That's
they
cool
do
that
it.
they do that.
Yeah, and technical rigging for operating in tight spaces too. These are the trees that between houses and things like that that need to be trimmed up or cut down, and they can do that safely without damaging any of the houses. I've seen some videos actually on TikTok on that. I wonder if they're doing any videos of that kind of work, because that is pretty cool to watch them do that.
You know what else is cool to watch is removing the ball moss. And because you have to get pretty high up on the
How do they
trees.
do that?
They run ropes between the trees.
Oh, wow.
And then they're harnessed, and then they pull themselves through the tree so they can remove the ball moss, because usually the ball moss is at the very end and the highest parts.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it makes
Incredible.
trees look so ugly, that ball moss
I know.
too.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's not a tumor at all.
No.
All right, so they provide both residential and commercial services and specialize in hazardous tree removal and structural corrections. Steel Roots Tree Service is fully licensed and insured and ready to serve you. You can call them today for a free estimate. You can reach out to them at 210-352-5692 or visit their website at steelrootstreeservices.com. Pretty cool business. I always thought that'd be kind of a fun business to have. Tree trimming is pretty cool.
Yeah.
All the tools and whatnots.
And like you said, TikTok, good to watch those. Also power washing, especially like driveways. Oh, it's so neat to watch when they were going back and forth and you're just mesmerized by watching those videos.
Remarkable before and after.
Yeah. People probably do that with y'all's business, right? They love to see accounting and all that.
That's what I was going to say. Watch Adele do all the numbers and stuff like that. And they're like, people would be like, whoa, that company's in bad shape.
That's
but
right. That's
Adele's
right.
going to go in there and fix it.
Yep. Just bring me the financial statements and I'll go ahead and reporting. I'll take a look at it.
So, Adele and Rich, welcome back to the show. Of course, this is Life Insurance Awareness Month. Who knew that this was a thing? Rich, you want to give me some insight on what's going on there and what you guys are doing during Life Insurance Awareness Month?
Of course. So it's the whole month of September, right? I really believe that it should be something that should be on your mind all year. However, we've dedicated as an industry the month of September. Basically, it's to educate. You know how big we are on education, right? Literacy. So whole life versus term. And then, of course, there's been others, that have come around in the industry like variable life insurance, index universal life insurance. All of this is to help someone just get better knowledge, more comfortable actually with life insurance and the purposes. For me, of course, I think I had talked on one of our podcasts about the tax code 7702. You can Google that. You can find it on like bankrate.com, investopedia.com. Forbes even has a really good article on the differences of everything and exactly what 7702 means. So what we do is we use that in our tax planning. So we try to do everything that we can, right, for our people, right, our customers who we have great relationships with, as far as like life insurance and how that can play in your taxes.
And Rich, is life insurance a one and done thing, or should it be evaluated every year?
Thank you. Good point. We do yearly reviews. Not quite as often as like for taxes, like Adele likes to meet with someone, 3-4 times. But if necessary, I can do the same thing. But yes, it's very important because, especially with the IRS also, if your life insurance plan is not staying where it needs to stay, which most life insurance companies take care of already, right? They take a lot of that hassle out of our hands, right? Because they do follow all those rules. But yes, I do those reviews to make sure that the whole reason you bought the life insurance to begin with still serves you.
I see.
So yes, at least once a year. But when you start using it, again, a little bit more sophisticated and more of the advanced planning stages, 3 to maybe 4 times like Adele is a valuable time to sit down and visit.
Well, give us an example of living benefit.
A living benefit for life insurance. Okay, so now what term life? Because I don't know if people know the difference between whole life and term. Very simple. Been using this analogy my whole career since 1997. Is when you rent an apartment, right? You have a landlord, but that rent, all that does is secure your bed, I guess, for the next month, 1 month at a time. That's basically term life. There's no equity like when you have a home. You have equity that's building up. Well, the equity in a life insurance plan or policy is the cash value, which people can leverage. I know you've used that word before when we've been on, that people can leverage for different reasons.
That's the whole life.
That's the whole life now, exactly, which again has evolved into just your very basic to now that variable life insurance, index universal life. So when you talk about living benefits, term life now has added those which bring the whole life brings about to now term, which is mainly.
So explain
It's like
that.
a hybrid.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So you're still doing the month-to-month thing with the term, okay? Basically like no contract. However, they're out now for chronic illnesses. Like if you have heart issues, they will sometimes have even multipliers. So if, let's say you have 100,000 in term, but you add that as a rider for the chronic illnesses, that anything that you have, some companies like Transamerica, they're really good at it. You can sort of take what you have as 100,000, they'll multiply it to 200,000, and then you can make withdrawals to help you, like chemo, to help a surgery or something like that. So those living benefits, add to, of course, the death benefit, right? But that's while you're alive. If you have some of those illnesses, just know that you're able to take from that policy to help you during those times.
But it's not an asset.
No, exactly. No, it's not.
Term's never an asset, whereas
No.
whole life is an asset.
Correct.
That you can borrow against
Yes.
and do all kinds
Correct.
of stuff, right?
And that
Thank
would
you.
be
Yeah, and
tax-free.
that
Correct.
the value, and some of them are sort of investment based.
Right.
They're also, and this is maybe why it's great to have you guys as a team, because then there are also some tax benefits
Right.
to it and to
Definitely.
the investment value of that whole life.
See, and
policy.
we don't have a financial planner yet, right? So I mean, this is definitely a step in that direction, and I like the idea of the pairing of the two.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and we've done it with our clients in all states. Mainly in Illinois and Florida, California, and Texas, Michigan. So we've from start to finish. You walk into our office, we want to do a one-stop shop.
And and we have a lot of entrepreneurs that are young, early in their careers, that listen to this show and watch this show. And so I think it's important to note, I've been in business now for 30 years with my ad agency, but it's important that you talk to experts like Adele and Rich early in your career, because if you show up at their
Agree.
office
Right.
when you're 60 and you're like, hey, I'm going to be retiring in 5 years, what can I do?
Right.
I mean, not that there isn't anything you can't help them with, but it
Right.
would have been a lot better
Oh, yes.
if they came in their 20s and 30s to see you guys. Are the services you guys offer accessible and affordable to
Yes.
people of that category, that age group?
Definitely. So we talked about the stages, right, in our second podcast with Kirby here. Talked about the critical financial life stages and the defining decades. I mean, you're right. No better time than today to do it, but still, it's holistic planning. And then, yes, I am 100% commission. So you don't have to pay me, like a retainer fee or anything like that. It's whatever I can help you with. Those companies we work with, they're the ones that pay me. So, yeah, it's definitely affordable for a lot of people.
So let's talk a little bit about Medicare.
Right.
What's going on in the Medicare space with you guys right now?
So we have different times of the year where, I'm on, like during in season, like in sports, I've made that analogy, or during off season, right? So Medicare's season is coming up for annual enrollment, AEP, what a lot of people call it. And that's, I think we have a graphic that we can show you guys. It's October 15th is when it starts, all the way through December 7th. So this last fourth quarter, right, things are really coming down, to where people want to wrap up the year. We are linear, right, in our thinking a lot of times. So by December 31st, we have a lot of goals that we want to reach. Well, for the seniors, right, who are turning 65, because you cannot get Medicare earlier than that. There's other ways, but not voluntarily, right? People sign up at 65. There's a 7-month period, 3 months before your birthday month or your birth month, and then the 3 months after. So it's a 7-month period total. Annual enrollment is where you can switch plans when you get Medicare Advantage plans, or you stay with original Medicare. Original Medicare is just Part A and B. Then you go to the supplemental side. Okay, I talk about this a lot during my Medicare 101 seminars. But so Medicare Advantage plans is that Part C that complements A and B. Okay, A is hospital, B is doctor, and then C is pretty much everything else you were used to when you were out in the workforce, when you had benefits, when you had dental, vision, chiro, ambulatory services, and other things, right? Part C covers that. So October 15th to December 7th is when we cover that in the annual enrollment. A lot like when people used to sign up for their benefits at work, like during October, you enroll. For those who are older, like 66, 67, that's the time then to maybe change plans. Stay with Medicare Part C. However, you go from Aetna to Cigna. And I'm licensed and appointed with all the big guys and a few of the smaller ones, but all the big hitters across the country. We'll find the best plan for you.
And also remember that after 65, 67, 68, your life changes in health, right?
Still.
You may not be losing your hearing at 65, but you may at 70, right? And so your plans don't cover that. So every year it's best to reevaluate your plan, whether you change or not, right? So this is a good opportunity to go in and speak with someone. You're going to be receiving, anyone who's over 65 is going to be receiving phone calls, mails. Your phone is going to be ringing off the hook. If you sign up on a plan in the next 15 minutes, right? It takes you 15 minutes to do a plan. I say walk away. You literally, it takes about 30 minutes to 45 to discuss everything from start to finish with your plan, your medications, what you've experienced, what you had last year versus this year. What are you looking at? My legs are hurting. I might need hip surgery. So those are the kind of things that we have to look at to make sure. I had to pay $500 at the end. That's the donut hole. Why?
Well,
because
prescription drugs.
your prescriptions, right,
The cost.
was too much, and then you're paying out of pocket. Well, we don't want that to occur, right? So we want to make sure that we're looking at everything. So if someone signs you up in 15 minutes, that's something.
So I'm seeing
that,
a pattern here because, just like you like using analogies, I see this. Most people understand getting their car serviced, right?
Yeah.
And getting oil changes and tire rotations and those kinds of things. It sounds to me like people should be checking in with experts on insurance, on their Medicare, on their filings and all that stuff, not just leaving it unattended. Because if you don't change the oil in your car in 3 years, chances are the whole thing's going to go on.
Well, it's being strategic, right? When you have the information and you're evaluating your current space, because you're changing to Adele's point, you're actually your physical health and maybe emotional, mental health is changing as you get older. There should be an evaluation period,
right?
Definitely.
that you should look forward to every.
And it doesn't sound like it takes that long anyway. The
It
check-ins
doesn't.
and all that stuff.
It doesn't.
And again, I already talked to a lot of my Medicare clients as well, several times a year, because I'm going through what they're going through, right? As when they call me, especially about prescription drugs or about their doctor retiring, well, now they need to find another doctor. So I mean, this is ongoing. Now, in annual enrollment, you can change these plans as many times as you want to find and be comfortable, right, with the right company, I guess, the right doctors, and the networks, pharmacies, hospitals, everything. OEP comes up first quarter of the next year, because any changes we make right now, say I sign you up, that plan doesn't take effect until January 1. So right now we got to finish out Medicare for 2024. But if you want a different plan, that's effective January 1. Well, come January 1, if you're still having second thoughts, or maybe something happened again with your doctors or your friend or your tia or somebody in your family says, no, my doctor's better. Okay, you want to switch? Then in OEP, you can only switch once. Annual AEP, you can switch any number of times. In OEP, from January 1st to March 31st, you can only switch one time. And that's the thing. So they want you to stay in their plan, right? Of course, the one you choose. So we help you choose the best one, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yep.
So the annual election period,
Yep.
you pick out of whoever you're kind of field testing. Well, you don't even use those services till January 1. But when you
Correct.
start using them on January
Correct.
1, if you don't like it,
Correct.
you have an option to change again.
One time.
Yes.
Correct.
Well, I like all of that.
Yes.
So let's move over to taxes.
Yay.
Of course, it's coming up towards the end of the year. I know this is Adele's favorite
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
subject. So
And you love the
tax-
IRS, which is
That's
great.
They're great.
tax extensions, deadline coming up. What's going on?
October 15th is for tax for personal tax returns. September 16th is for businesses. So it's something that if you have an 1120 S corp, corporation, partnership, that's going to be this coming Monday. So we will be busy all this week and Thursday. But what I want to focus on is October 15th, which is the personal tax return. A lot of people wait to the last minute. Just know that you have until midnight to mail in your tax return or have someone work on your taxes and e-file it.
Now, this is for people who filed for an extension.
Extensions.
Right. And what was the deadline for filing for an extension?
For the businesses, which is March 15th, and the personal accounts is April 15th.
Okay.
So always know that if you have a business and you're filing a corporate return or S corp or a partnership, you're filing March 15th. Then you have to file April 15th for your personal taxes. You can extend for September and October. And then, of course, you have non-for-profit, which is May 15th, and then the extension is on November 11th, or no, November 15th.
And if you file for an extension, that doesn't negate your obligation
Thank
to
you.
pay an estimated amount
Correct.
of what you might be due.
Correct.
They're just giving you an extension to file later.
file.
Yes.
But the IRS wants their money.
Of
And-
course.
and they will
as
charge-
of April 15th. Correct.
And they'll
So-
charge penalties and interest starting from April 15th. A lot of people don't realize that. And they're like, oh, that's okay. I can pay in October. Well, sure. But no, you're going to add interest and penalties if they charge that. But you're right.
Correct.
Absolutely right, Howie.
So I know you guys are big on education, and I know you have a tax class. I mean, tell us a little bit about what the class involves.
Okay. So we're going to begin tax class April 15th. I mean, October 15th. Sorry. April. October 15th. The last day to register would be the 16th, so I can order the books. Anyone who wants to learn for their personal reasons for tax return, we are offering, take our class, use our software. You can pay, if you're paying a TurboTax one size fits all for $89, well, take our class and use our software for that same amount of dollar amount. And the class is $497, right?
$697 with
sorry.
the textbook. So part of that money goes straight to the textbook that we order, along with the quizzes and any other updates that come along. But yeah, so it basically nets out to $497.
Who's the
Right.
class for? Is it for regular folks or is it for people that are doing your type of work or what?
Anybody starting from zero to an experienced person. We had a CPA join us last year, right? But because she focuses more on just like, what was it?
Sales tax.
Sales tax. She just wanted a refresher as far as to current tax laws and how to do a basic tax return. So anyone can join the class at any level.
Is it a CE? Continuing education?
You can if you're a CPA or
Correct.
an enrolled agent.
Or an enrolled agent.
Or a
Okay.
registered agent.
But just to be clear, that this isn't for your average end user. This is for people who are servicing folks, generally speaking.
So we've got a young lady who
Both.
also is going to be here for her second year. Last year she started and she wants to start her own tax business, but she knows that she needs to get more familiar and she'll do some family returns, right, to get her feet wet, right? But eventually she wants to have her own business. So it's also for someone like that also who aspires, because she does as well, to be part of that annual filing season participant program that Adel's with the IRS. Because she wants to get recognized. She wants to get certified. She wants
Right.
to show everyone that, hey, I'm qualified. Well, normally those, qualifications would be roughly 3 years of that continuing ed and 3 tax seasons. Now, no matter how involved those tax returns are, roughly a good estimate is about 100 tax returns in those 3 years.
But for someone like myself who has
Yes.
no interest in doing any business on the tax
Correct.
side, this really isn't. Why would I pay $600 or $700 to go to a class on it to learn when
Sure.
I'm just going to rely on Adele to fill
Exactly.
me in on all the blanks? But it is really for people who are interested in maybe doing some filing, earning some revenue, that kind of a thing.
Correct.
But have you had also people who want to file their own taxes
Yes.
In
and they
Illinois.
want to learn how to do it?
In
And so they
Illinois.
take the tax class
Yep.
and they use their credentials because you
Correct.
need credentials
Correct.
to file.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
Wow.
P10
And do you guys supervise it or the
Yes.
the software supervises
Yes.
it? Plus you'll take an eye.
Before
to
you
keep an eye.
e-file, we take a look at it. I mean, it's like you're in school.
Yeah.
you know?
Okay. So quick side note.
Yes.
I don't do this.
Okay.
I don't even know anybody who does this. But in the old days, I used to know people that used to lie about the number of dependents they had so they could get more money. It's like, but they used to go to the little tax lady
Yes.
on Bassie
Correct.
who has no certifications, but she knows because she's like the tia Cuca. And then she's like, I can help you.
Right.
Oh, how many kids you have? 3? Okay, vamos a ponerle 8.
Right.
And then, and then they get to keep more money.
Yep. Well, now, I mean, IRS is
Yeah,
caught
they're-
on.
Yeah.
They're coming down on that
you're
really
They
done
may
hard.
be slow, but they're thorough.
Right. That's right.
So
Yeah.
when you apply for a new job, you're going to fill out a W-4. And that W-4, if you take a look at it, the first section of that mirrors your tax return, which is your name, phone number, address, and then your filing status. There's only 4. There used to be where you can go in and put exempt or, I have like 7 children, and they take out the least amount. And then in the end, you owe, but then you'll pay the IRS slowly, right? So that form is supposed to catch up to the tax return. It's supposed to mirror. And a lot of people are not receiving the credits. It's affecting the credits. You're no longer going to be receiving $2,000 for 7 dependents when you only have 3, right? Because it's based off that. IRS will catch on. Then it'll decrease your earned income credit. So it all, in the end, will flush out, and then you'll either owe or you'll have a smaller refund in a lot of things. So a lot of people think that, or a lot of young kids will file exempt, take out 0 taxes. It's like getting a 1099. You're not paying any taxes, and in the end, you're going to have to pay the taxes at whatever tax rate you're at that year. So if you're making $63,000, well, you're already in the 22% tax bracket. You're going to have to pay 22% of the $63,000 minus the standard deduction. Then here you are paying $3,000 or $4,000 because you didn't pay it out through.
Yeah. So they're
throughout the year.
matching up those forms. She's talking about that W-4, a lot like the marketplace, right? ACA. We see people every tax season, right, that don't think they have the Affordable Care Act, right? They're not covered. Then they come to find out, yeah, you were covered for a few months. Well, that matches up. That W-4 is not what they're matching up. Like crypto, it's coming. Like you're saying, they're a little slow, but it's coming.
Yeah, it's all the technology. You know, there's almost no secrets anymore, right? If you're getting paid, if you're an entrepreneur and you're listening to this, and you're getting paid through Cash App or Venmo or Zelle, guess what? The IRS is going to know because they're reporting it out. And if you're not taking it as income in your business, you're going to get taxed on that. And now, like Rich said, there's going to be a penalty and there's going to be interest on top of what you owe.
Correct.
Yeah. So look, you guys are super charismatic, very friendly, very smart. You all get it, intuitive. You're not intimidating at all. I mean, you know, people should come and see you. What does an onboarding look like? What does a phone call look like? Do they call you? Do they come to your office? How do you evaluate them and bring them into the family?
We can talk on the phone for 20, 30 minutes. We can Zoom. We can Teams. We can do face-to-face. We can go to you. We can go to a coffee shop. We can go to your house. So those are the things that, there's no excuse to not come see us because we are mobile, we are virtual, we are one-to-one. Yeah. So we can.
We're a bit old-fashioned, right? We like the face-to-face, especially.
I'll tell you what, when we were up in Illinois, we were sharing an office with Ron, and he was from Nigeria.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a client in my office, and he was sharing the other side of the office. Yeah. He comes in, and we're laughing and joking with our client that we had. Yeah. But he didn't realize that we met that client just that day. They called us on the phone,
They just walked in. I mean, we're at the end, we're hugging and say, hey, happy birthday to your son or whatever.
How long have you known this client? I mean, for them to give you hugs and thank you. And
you're like, what time is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so about an hour.
About 45 minutes. Really? And because we take your situation and we dissect it, and I'm like, our expressions and our faces, and then just the things that we're giving, it just an eye opener, and they're like, OMG, what am I doing? How can you help me? Well, let's get it straight, right? And if we have to amend the previous year, then let's amend it, so then you don't have to pay those taxes. And that's what we do.
And there's so many people I've talked to that have had businesses for 10, 15 years that are still paying the IRS on these old agreements, and they don't seem to get ahead in their business. And they're always worried about it. And because they missed payments for a few years. So I love the philosophy. I love the approach.
And especially if you have a business, then we're going to go into the bookkeeping piece, right? So you have to learn your business. I know we talked about it the first podcast that we did, right, back in March. Mm-hmm. If you have a small business and you're not using a bookkeeping service, it doesn't have to be QuickBooks, it could be any other service, and you're not quarterly reporting your revenue, your profit and loss, and your expenses, you're going to have no idea of how much you're spending. If you're not creating a budget in October, now's the time, this last quarter is the time to review the whole year, what you've done. You can do a budget versus actual in QuickBooks. Costs a little bit more, but how much are you willing to spend to understand your business financially so you can make more?
It'll cost you a lot more money if you don't plan, guaranteed. I've been in business for 35 years, and I've been a partner in 24 businesses. I could tell you many experiences with partners and without partners where we didn't plan, we didn't look at reports, we didn't know whatever, and it cost us a ton more money.
Oh yeah.
Forecasting and trends and comparisons. Those are the things that you're going to need to understand in your business.
So is bookkeeping something you guys do, or you work with bookkeepers?
No, we do it. We do it all.
Gotcha.
Yep. In-house.
In-house.
And
What about ceramic coating on cars? No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
What about tree service?
Tree service.
So year-end bookkeeping's coming
Yes.
up. I mean,
Yep.
we are getting
Yes.
into that fourth quarter. So
Yep.
what's the plan there?
So what I love about bookkeeping, we customize to your business, and I get it. You're a small business. You're not going to pay, $2,000, $4,000 a year, $5,000 a year
No
for
need
your
to.
business, right? So we customize to your business, whatever you can afford. Again, I always say this time and time again, you succeed, we succeed, you grow, we grow. So if we start out at X amount of dollars, and as your business increases in revenue, and then we reduce, because we're trying to get your expenses where they need to be, right? Or even dissect them even more, right? In your expenses. What exactly are you doing? How are you spending? What's your marketing? What's your advertising? Are you networking? Those are the kind of questions that we're asking. And are you putting them in separately so you can see? So when you do your budget, you're going to say, okay, it's going to take $50,000 to run my business for the whole year. I make $100,000, $50,000 for employees or contract work, and then I have $50,000 left. Out of that $50,000, what are you doing? Are you saving that for the following year? Are you going to plan to make sure that as companies like Chase, Walmart, where they plan to make 5%, they're telling all their employees, we need to sell more. We need to you need to do that. The same thing with your business. Are you putting a percentage on your revenue sales? If you're going to make $110,000, what is it next year? $120,000. Regardless if you make that or not, you have a goal to meet that. And if you don't, that's okay. You can figure out why you didn't make it.
So you're saying you should plan even for what you're going to make. And so Rich talks about planning for retirement, insurance, life insurance, Medicare and Medicaid benefits and that kind of stuff. So tell me a little bit more about tax planning. So not just meeting the deadlines and your 1040 estimated payments and all that stuff, but you have to plan for how much you're going to make. So does that play into, and do you offer, I know you offer everything, but let's just dig in a little bit. Adele, do you guys offer, let's say, tax efficiency consulting? Hey, it looks like you're going to make $120,000 this next year. So maybe you should buy this vehicle, maybe you should buy this because then you're either going to give it to the IRS or you can invest it in your business.
Correct.
Do you do some of that?
So we take a look at your profit and loss and your balance sheet. So if you're buying a vehicle, I know we've said this before, you purchase a vehicle and your payment is $700. Well, then you have a liability. That truck is not an asset until you pay it. So right now you have a 5-year liability, but $800 does not go strictly to that payment. You have interest. So say $200 is your interest. Well, that's an expense along with the car insurance, right? And then you have your liability to your vehicle. That goes on your balance sheet, right? It doesn't affect the profit and loss there. It's just the interest that you're putting in. Once you're able to pay that dollar amount, you can take the depreciation now or after it's paid. But in the end, once you pay that off, that liability becomes an asset. That asset is yours. So when the banks are asking, give me your financial reporting, balance sheet, I have had to manually create balance sheets and profit and loss because people do not have bookkeeping. I literally am right now, I have 4 clients that I'm getting their bank statements and creating profit and loss and balance sheet for them because they're applying for a loan or a house or whatever, or amending a return because they want to purchase something, right? So it's very crucial that you understand how your business works and what you want to do.
Yeah, Adele, how do you categorize this? I know it's not, is it like tax optimization or tax minimization strategies, or where do you put these things? It's, everybody says, well, I just don't want to have to pay taxes.
Correct.
Okay, that's not realistic.
Correct.
But you could optimize how much your business pays or doesn't pay based on how you spend the money and how you pay yourself or how you pay others.
That's a broad general question. It all depends on how your business is operating. I'll take example. I talk about our business all day long. We were 1099s. I was a full-time for 25 years. We've been in this business for 15. I've been doing bookkeeping and taxes for 15 years. I started full-time about 4 years ago, and I've been a 1099. Our business has paid us. It's not until this year where we are paying W-2 to each other from our business. We are no longer 1099, but we had to strategize to get there, meaning that I'm paying the unemployment tax. I'm paying the Social Security and Medicare on both sides. So when you have a W-2, your employer is paying that percentage and it's taken out of yours. Yeah. Well, our company is doing it now along with our part-timers, right? We do have 1099s that we do offer, but it all depends. Can your company afford the additional taxes that you're paying? So in the end, we're getting a refund. Not a lot, $1,500, $800. I think last year we got $800. We're like, what the? But I didn't have to pay.
But that in a sense is better because you didn't leave the money parked with the IRS.
Correct.
Interest free. And I'm going to get to you in just a second. But Joe from Icon, who was sitting in your spot before, we talked about this because, he's been in business for a long time. And he says, I just kind of didn't pay myself for a long time. It's just whatever's left over. And now he's a W-2 employee. I'm a W-2 employee of my own company.
Correct.
Mark has a different strategy of how he's been doing stuff. But this is all ridiculously important because this can cost you thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars in real dollars, either by turning it over to the IRS or not being efficient. And worst case, you 1099 yourself. Guess what? You're not putting anything into Social Security. You're not doing any of that. You wasted a lot of years.
Correct. And I was just going to say, if you go to our website, right, you'll see that, like, for what we're talking about right now, the financial reporting, there's a special. I went and changed that just for the show. It's $495 for any 3 financial reports. Okay, any 3. There are a few others, right? You have a cash flow statement as well. Whatever your business needs at that time, after Adele, asks you the questions and you feel like this is what you need that's more important because of what's going on in your business, $495 for 3 reports. And then she can help you with all that. So she gets a lot of that finance and accounting from her corporate experience, when she was working for corporate America, that is just a transferable
and I
skill
feel like
for us.
If people don't know what reports they want, they come to you guys. You're gonna say, hey, look, if I were you, these are the 3 I would do.
And this is what you need. Correct.
Right.
Exactly. So minimization, optimization, all of that you're talking about is what
financial mismanagement will kill a business faster than anything else.
Automatically.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Automatically.
Yes.
So with the bookkeeping, it all depends. With Jennifer, we're doing, I'm consulting. I'm going to be training her for the next 3 months after I'm done with the extensions, but working with her for 3 months to get her where she needs to be. And then we just meet 3 or 4 times out of the year, right? And she's going to understand how the business is working. Because right now she's doing 2 things. She's doing her own thing. She's paying for QuickBooks, but then she has on the side her little balance sheet. So she's working harder and trying to understand. So let's understand the QuickBook piece, right? And mesh those 2 together so then she can understand. If she can pull a report, then we can get that done. So we have that. We can do monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, and annual bookkeeping, right? All depends on how much you're willing to pay for your services. You get what you pay for. If you're going to go somewhere and it's $10 for a beautiful dress that you're going to wear, and then it's going to tear on you when you wear with your high heel shoes from Payless, fashion, right? Or you get it on through Amazon and it comes mailed to you and it doesn't fit right away. Or you're going to spend the time to go to the store, go to the mall or whatever, and try it on 3 or 4 different ones to make sure that you look great for that event. you need to do the same for your business. You need to take a look at, and if your bookkeeper or tax accountant or CPA is not speaking with you 3 or 4, 5 times out of the year, you need to ask them. And if they're going to charge you each time and you're willing to pay for that, then do it. And they're doing a really good job for you, then pay that extra money, because it's going to be, you're paying it. I mean, it's going to come back to you. Just like the mega mixer, right? If you pay $15, $20, or $25, it's going to come back if you get somebody right away.
We got our tickets, by the way, the early bird.
Oh, you got the early
we
bird?
did.
We got the early bird.
But from there, every time I go to the mixer, I always meet with somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And I always get either financial reporting, bookkeeping, or have to amend their taxes. $20, $15 is nothing.
Well, at
And
the last mega mixer, she got a lady interested in taking the tax class. Not to really start her, but she just wanted to know.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
So, it was great. So you're spending
I think
time.
I need a commission on some of this.
I know,
stuff.
right?
Yeah. Adele can help you set up some software to track all that.
Right?
Yeah,
I
right.
did,
Hey, no, but seriously, I've done business with at Sharkmatic with people that I not only met on the Mega Mixer, people that I met here, but also Mark is a referral machine. He'll text people and connect you.
Oh, yes.
And then he'll see me post with somebody, goes, oh, yeah, I introduced you to him. And then I'll go, yeah, sure enough, you did.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he goes, don't forget that. But he'll remind you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, that's nice.
So anything else for the end of the year tax-wise that people need to be aware of?
The end of the year, you have the fourth quarter coming up, right? After September, you're going to start your fourth quarter. Review all of your revenue sales. Review your projects. If you don't have projects, whether it be in construction, in patient, if you're a pharmacist, if you are a nurse, or if you are a salon, you have projects that you can then put in there and dissect inventory if you're needing to get the inventory done. All of that is through QuickBooks and can be handled. Of course, there's 4 different tiers for QuickBooks, so you pay less, you're only going to get the bare minimum. You pay more, then you're going to get the full effect of QuickBooks.
Yeah, and when we're talking QuickBooks now, for those of you who've been in business for a long time, the old QuickBooks Online, it's not you buy it once, keep it for 4 or 5 years, and whatever. Now it's QBO, QuickBooks Online, and it gets updated automatically, and you pay a subscription service.
Correct.
But then you give access to your accountants and all that stuff, so they can look at it and work on it also simultaneously while you're working it, using it on a day-to-day basis.
And the more people that I have on my profile, I get 30% discount. So there's a monthly fee that comes out of the bank, our account, which is $300, right? Because I'm paying for those subscriptions for my clients. Sure, it's going to their bill. I get it back, but it's a percentage. It's 30%. Instead of paying $35, you're paying $21.
So are you saying, do you pass that savings on to your client?
Correct.
You don't bill them the full...
No.
Did Jennifer know about that?
Yeah, Jennifer knows about that.
She likes to save money. You know?
I know.
I am not. So, I mean, I offered that, but she wants to learn first. And if she's willing, and I do what the client wants me to do. So if she wants to learn, I'm all for it. I will train her to get where. And then if she wants the monthly, we talked about it. If she's ready to do monthly, she wants to understand the business as a whole and how it's working, right? Then once we get going, it's a progression. But I'm going to give you what you want first, and then we're going to talk. And I'm like, okay, we're going to need like this. But no, I don't increase it. I just give you that savings.
Yep.
Nice. That's good. Again, building relationships. Trusting relationships. You all make your money on advice, filing, commissions, and all that. You don't need to be nickel and diming and making money on people's software by taking a cut. Yeah, it's smart. It's how you guys have been able to build a successful business.
Correct.
Is not by taking advantage of people.
Right.
Exactly.
So
Thank you.
Yep,
Good job.
we want quality, not quantity.
That's right. And tax season starts for us January 2nd.
That's exactly what I was going to ask next.
Yep.
You guys are going to be full on January 2nd through what? When does it end for you guys? April 15th or what?
No, because, some people who get extensions, we like to handle them right in May while it's fresh in their mind,
Yes.
right? And we take care of many of them as we can. and we just can't get to them, then of course we wait till September, right, or in October.
You know, we had a CPA doing our taxes for us at one point.
Yeah.
Not the one we were talking about earlier, a different one.
Okay.
And it was like filing an extension meant that they could put it off to a week before the deadline.
Sure.
It just
No.
drove me nuts. It
Yeah,
drove
no.
Right.
Jennifer nuts too.
No.
So I like that. It's just,
Yeah.
look, it's an extension. It goes to here, but that doesn't mean we're going to forget about it until
Right.
then. We're all over it.
Everybody's busy. I get that. 30 days at the most. Now, am I doing extensions now for businesses? Yes. Have I been hounding them? Yes. Are they going to pay a penalty? Sure. But that's on them, right? I'm straightforward. You know, you're gonna pay. IRS is not going to be your friend.
Yeah. Not at
So, yeah.
that. Yep.
Anything else? So you guys got an offer
We
on the
do.
table that you guys are
We do.
pushing out
Yes.
for, not just for listeners. Hopefully you're going to share that with anybody and everybody. And of course,
Yes.
you're going to be there in October. If this is still going on, you can always let people know about that then. But what's your offer
Correct.
that you got going on?
Yes, thank you, Mark. So yeah, we have different offers, I guess, at different times. This one was just for the show, right? For today's show, for the first 50 people that scan our QR code. It should be up on the screen, hopefully. If you scan the QR code and set an appointment, you're gonna actually get to visit with both of us. Okay, so you can get every aspect of your situation, right? Whatever questions you might have, you're gonna get our 2025 12-month calendar, right? At absolutely no charge. It's really nice. And with all the important information for fourth quarter, but it's more of a financial calendar for all year. So you're going to get starting in January, certain things that maybe you are already aware of, but then other things you may not know of. Okay, so that can be like us, kind of like on your fridge or in your home office or something, or that you have us with you all year. Then you're like, oh yeah, I meant to do that. Let me call Adele. Let me call Rich, or text, right, and get that to us.
I'm going to scan it, put it up. I have my QR code ready. Let me scan it.
Excellent. Do it right now. Now
All
it's
right.
a 90-minute meeting. Okay, it
Yeah,
may not
Calendarly.
take. There you go on Calendly.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It may not take the full 90 minutes, but we are allotting a 90-minute because we want to get to know you as well, and we want to be able to take our time. Right. We want to ask you the right questions. We want to give you time enough to answer correctly as well, right? However you feel that the information you feel like we need to know. So for 90 minutes, offered through here is complimentary. Normally $250 split, right, each way, but it includes a free financial analysis as well. Now that free financial analysis we do offer already, but I wanted to bring that up again because that is so important. Just a few questions about, again, almost like a W-2 for every aspect of your life. There are questions that we need to know to be able to better serve you. So just scan the QR code. I think maybe even the graphic on the screen has even that link for you to go to,
Right.
and schedule it. You can
Great.
start as no sooner than today.
All right. No, there's 49 left.
I know,
already got
right?
mine now. And so, wait, did you tell me that
Yes.
the January picture is you oiled down wearing your hat?
Correct. It's
Flexing?
my
Okay.
my
Speedo.
face morphed on Mr. USA.
There you go.
But I'm close to that, but not
Yeah.
quite there yet. But yeah.
So, but they can also get a hold of you guys by telephone as well, or
Yes.
website. So, why don't you give us the phone and website?
The phone number is 210-908-9955. Sorry, I keep on hitting that. And our website is at ff-tsg.com.
Correct.
ff-tsg.com.
Stands for Freedom Financial and then Tax Services Group.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's where we started up in Illinois. So yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks again for coming in.
No, thank
Had a
you.
great time. Great conversation.
Yeah.
The chemistry's really good, right?
Oh,
We just
really
had a
good.
good time.
I love
Hey,
it.
I'm not saying these are my favorite guests,
I know,
but these
right?
are among my favorite guests.
There you go.
They're
Way to
you,
qualify
Thank you,
that.
Howie.
Yeah.
Love
I
it.
appreciate that.
All right, as we wrap up the show, quick reminder, check out our latest podcast and catch video version of the show anytime by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. That's going to be it for this one. Don't forget to come to the Mega Mixer on October 3rd.
Yes.
Right.
You guys have a great week. We'll see you on the next
Thank
one.
you.